For the record, this matters before the court for the purpose of reviewing parenting time. In addition, Attorney Jason Kazmarek filed the motion to withdraw as the attorney of record for the defendant, Father David Cieslak. This hearing is being conducted via Zoom. President Attorney Kirsten Nemec representing the plaintiff, Hope Smith. Ms. Smith is present. Mr. Cieslak, you're present on audio, is that correct?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
The court did receive from Attorney Kazmarek a stipulated order where Mr. Cieslak, you've agreed that Mr. Kazmarek can withdraw as your attorney of record. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
All right, so it's not been submitted to the court for signature. I think it was just an emailed copy, but that will be sent to the clerk's office for the court to enter. So that issue has been addressed. With respect to parenting time, the court has received the following recommendation from Ms. LaPrade from the front of the court. The recommendation is as follows: that the current parenting time order shall be suspended until such time as CPS investigation is completed and father completes an anger management course. Neither party shall use corporal punishment as a form of discipline, and Mr. Cieslak shall complete an anger management course. Obviously, something has happened since we were last in court on May 7th that the court was not aware of. The court would note for the record that both parties completed the high conflict solutions workshop as ordered by this court and did submit essays. Ms. LaPrade, does your office have a copy of their essays?
I do, Your Honor. Ms. Cieslak's was emailed the other day and uploaded, and Ms. Nemec was kind enough to send me Mr. Cieslak's today, so I do have both of them.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure that your office had a copy of those. The court was pleased that both parties seemed to be receptive and felt they benefited from the class. The court likes feedback. All right, Ms. Nemec, obviously you're agreeing with this recommendation. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't know if we need to get into what happened, but Mr. Cieslak, do you understand the recommendation this afternoon? Is their parenting time be suspended until you complete an anger management class and CPS completes their investigation?
Yes, Your Honor, I do. I mean, I'm not happy with it. I do have an objection to it, but I do understand the court's recommendation for it. It's been a very confusing past few months for all parties involved. And honestly, I would like also to apologize to you, Your Honor. A lot of what I said in the app close was offensive to the courts, not only Ms. Smith. I'm not blaming my son by any way whatsoever, but with the information that I was getting from my son at the time, I don't want to use the word justified, but I felt like at the time what I was saying was in defense of my child. And it's not, I know it wasn't. I went and to get into the matters that happened, I smacked my son on May 20th. And that is what the CPS investigation is about. He had told CPS that I had smacked him for 40 minutes straight and I had threatened to kill our dogs. And that is a kind of the same around about things that he was saying about his grandfather and his mother. The situation that we are in right now is because Hope and I, from the conflict resolution class that I had taken, we need to reframe how we think about each other. When he comes over here and he says things about his mother, I barely even know his mother as a person anymore with our lack of communication. And I go off of what my son says 100%, and that's can't be done anymore. He's at an age where he's manipulating both of us. He knows that we are not fans of each other, and he is taking full advantage of that. And I don't blame him. He is a boy. It's not, but I did smack him on the 20th. And that is what is going on. And I had gone through his messages with his mother, and I woke him up and I put him in the corner and I was like, Leon, you have been lying about this entire situation. The allegations you made against your mother in Toledo could have put her in jail. It could have cost her a career. A lot of what, and I said, son, as a matter of fact, I told you the next time you lied to me, I would smack you in the mouth. And I told Leon, come here. And I smacked him, and it left a bruise. Amber McFall was here. She had to go through my whole house because Leon's allegations were that there were holes in all of my walls, that I had beat him for 40 minutes straight and that my house was unclean, and she came through and all of that was false. Everything that my son had said to her was false. And I presented to her Toledo police all my son's statements that he was making against his mother in Toledo as well.
Okay, I don't know if we need to get in more detail. I am pleased that you recognize that your son is playing one of you against the other. There's no question that 12-year-old can be challenging. Obviously, he's challenging both his father as well as his mother, pushing you to the limits. So you need to be on the same page for the benefit of each other, and particularly Leon. So you want to take this anger management course?
Whatever the court suggests, I will do. Honestly,
Well,
whatever.
That's what Mr. Pratt's recommending, and the Pratt has many years of experience. So yes, the court's inclined to adopt your recommendation. And what I'd like to do is set this for review so that you don't have to petition the court. This court wants nothing more than to restore the relationship between you and your son. Is Leon in counseling right now?
Yes.
Ms. Nemec?
He is, and I believe he attends weekly at this point, correct, Ms. Smith?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and is there any objection, Mr. Cezak, talking to that counselor at some point in time to perhaps a counselor can assist in reestablishing the relationship between father and son?
I think it's important to maintain the counseling relationship that's been established between Leon and his counselor, but I don't think that there would be an objection to Mr. Cezak and Leon seeing a separate counselor together to attempt to repair their relationship.
Okay. I just didn't know if
Your Honor,
if the
I'm
existing
sorry.
counselor had any recommendations. Go ahead, Mr.
Was
Cezak.
just here last weekend. My son and my relationship isn't damaged as it's being brought to the courts in that perspective. It really isn't. My son was just here this weekend. He was helping me with yard work. I explained to him, I was like, Leon, that is the first time I've ever laid hands on you, and CPS has been at our house. Like, what is going on? And he knows that I know that he's been lying. And I don't know if his mother is on the same page as far as the extent or how extensive his lies have been. And I mean, for perspective, my 88-year-old grandmother still thinks that he's in an abusive relationship at his mother's house. She is still very upset with how this has all played out. And it's been very difficult to convince her that he is safe over there. So it's been a very strange road since 3/26. And I picked him up at a Dollar General where he was saying that he had to leave an abusive domestic violence relationship with his grandfather and his mother. And it really did strike a nerve with me. And I did believe him full throttle. And I can't go back on the fact that I did that. I can't. It's what happened. And on the 20th, I did smack him on the mouth. And leave a bruise. Amber McFall did come here. We did put a safety plan in place. I admitted to her, on the 20th, when I dropped Leon off, I asked Hope to roll down her window and told her that I smacked Leon and that I knew that everything that he said was lies and that she wasn't abusing him. And I made him apologize to his mother that Sunday. And then I was getting calls from CPS the next Friday. And I understand. I really do, because when he goes to his mother's house and he says that my dad woke me up beating me, he beat me for 40 minutes straight, and he threatened to kill me and the dogs if I told anybody, is what Amber told me my son had said. So it's not, I understand where Hope is coming from. I completely acknowledge that my son is believable when he is as adamant as he is with what he's saying. And anger management, I'll do it. Or don't like it and I will object to it, but I will do it. And it's
Right, Mr. Cezak, you've had contact Leon's, you've had parenting time with Leon after this incident where you
Yes,
struck him
sir.
in the mouth, correct?
Yes, sir, I have. I had him all this previous weekend.
Your Honor,
Right,
that
and-
was because I advised Ms. Smith that there was an order in place and she needed to try to convince Leon to go. That was the only reason. Leon fought strenuously to avoid parenting time and has expressed repeatedly that he is fearful of physical punishment, which again, Mr. Cieslak has repeatedly admitted to engaging in, and which was so severe it left bruises on the side of this child's face.
Bruce,
I can share a picture with the court if the court is inclined to see it.
Is Ms. Smith concerned about this reoccurring?
Yes, Mr. Cieslak has demonstrated over the course of years his issues with managing his own anger. He has engaged in verbal abuse, physical abuse of Ms. Smith in front of the minor child, calling her names, which again,
We're trying to move forward.
if I was in
The court would like to hope that both
physical, am I
parties.
not
Just a
prosecuted
minute,
with
Mr.
that?
Cieslak. Hold on, Mr. Cieslak. The court would like to think both parties have a little insight into the relationship with their 12-year-old child who is being most challenging. And so rather than drag up things from the past, I'd like to move forward, even with a provision in here that neither party should use corporal punishment from discipline. Ms. Smith is still concerned about Leon's welfare with his dad.
yes, she is. And she would like to see
A
the
month ago,
yes
I
investigation.
was concerned
for-
of Leon's well-being
Hold on,
with
Mr.
his
Cieslak.
grandfather and his
Mr.
mother.
Cieslak, hold on. Let Ms. Nemec finish, please.
The difference here is that Ms. Smith never smacked Leon, and there were no marks on Leon. And in this incident, Mr. Cieslak admits to smacking Leon, and there are bruises on this child's face days later. That is the difference. There is a substantiated allegation. I've spoken with Ms. McFall myself. Mr. Cieslak, while we were before Ms. LaPrade, called Ms. McFall himself. The allegations in the CPS investigation are going to be substantiated, but the investigation is not complete.
Okay. Well, basically, CPS will just put together a safety plan, correct? And presumably one element of the safety plan is that Mr. Cieslak completed an anger management course, correct?
That is
No.
not what she has
No,
suggested
is-
so far. And in fact, she did not put any prohibition on Mr. Cieslak physically disciplining this child.
Well, because when she came here and I had files of my son stating that he was terrified of his grandfather and his mother, the abuse of Leon, she was surprised when she was not surprised for any other reason other than the fact that I had 8 police reports that were stating that my son was terrified to go to school, that he was terrified to be around his grandfather and his mother. My son has been playing both sides of the fence. That is true. And
Okay, Mr. Cieslak, the court understands all that. There's no question that 12-year-old can push a parent to limit, and yet we're all human.
And the
Yes,
safe- the
parents
safety
do
plan-
sometimes strike out without a bad motive. They do strike out to their children. So the court believes this recommendation is appropriate at this time. It'll benefit you. You look good in the eyes of protective services. For you to complete an anger management course, contact a counseling agency. I'm sure the front of the court caseworker can provide you with a name of an agency that does this kind of work. And I would suggest enrolling that as soon as possible. Get it done, the sooner the better you can complete that, and you have documentation. So the court's going to adopt the recommendation, but I'm going to set a review date. So as
Your
to,
Honor,
because I
I'm
want to
sorry.
reestablish the relationship between you and Leon.
if I
So,
may, when I spoke to Amber, she said that the only reason why the CPS investigation is open is because it's open for 30 days regardless. And when she was at my house, she did say that she believes that I was disciplining Leon, and the safety plan that she put into place was to spank Leon on the butt from now on. She said, even though you are allowed to smack in the face in Michigan, that you shouldn't do it. As a male, there is a high definite chance that you are going to leave a bruise on your son's face. So I recommend that you spank him from now on when you discipline him. And when she left my house, she knew that it was discipline.
Understand, but this court can enter an order that there be no corporal punishment. So neither parent shall physically discipline the child. You basically impose some other form of discipline, take away his cell phone, have him sit on the step.
Actually, to brush on that
create a
real
form
quick,
of punishment other than discipline. So the court's going to set a review date in about, I have no idea how quickly you can take this class, perhaps maybe 45 days. We want to reestablish a relationship with you and Leon. The court would also suggest find a counseling agency that can meet with both you and Leon to have those frank discussions and helping you restore that relationship.
Yes,
The
sir.
court wants nothing more, Mr. Cezak, than to reestablish things between you and Leon.
I believe we did that over this past weekend, but I understand where the court is coming from on that. And then also, and the only reason why I bring it up is you said that for discipline to ground him from his phone. I believe that the court said that neither one of the parents are allowed to take his phone away at one point. So I don't want to go against court ruling if that is
Right.
still in effect.
Miss, is that a provision of a prior order, Ms. Nemec?
It is the last order. We wanted to make sure that Leon was able to contact the other parent at any time if necessary. There are other electronic items that they can take away from him as forms of punishment. Video game consoles and iPads and things like that. But we wanted to make sure that he always had a mechanism to reach out to the other parent.
You can get all those games on his phone. Taking away a tablet does nothing when the child's got his phone.
Yeah, I'm going to be speaking to somebody who's a little bit more advanced with technology than myself, and they're going to be placing any adult blockers that they can on his phone. But I also shared all of his passwords with his mother just recently, so she has access to his phone as well, so she can see our messages and she can see that he is effectively playing both sides of the fence. It's
Right, so Mr. Cezak, yes, there is a provision right now that you can't take away his phone. We can discuss that further in the future. I don't know what Ms. Smith is suggesting, how you discipline the child if he's got his phone with him. It's not much of a discipline if you can't impose physical corporal punishment. In any event, the court should adopt the recommendation, will set this for review. So Mr. Cezak, court would suggest get that anger management counseling, get enrolled in that, completed as soon as possible. Hopefully when you come back on August 7th, you have documentation completed that, and also try to find a counselor that can meet with you and Leon that does some family counseling that can facilitate a discussion in a supervised setting between you and Leon to work through some of these differences. And Leon needs to be truthful to both of his parents. And
yeah, Your Honor, I already had Leon over this last weekend, and we had more than a couple of heart-to-hearts about it. He had to go to his grandmother and explain to her that he was lying. He was a lot that he had to deal with over this last weekend, and he's already done it. And I believe that we could move forward in a productive manner from this point. I mean, I'm already speaking to him daily on his phone, and he has already been at my house, and he was helping me with yard work to earn watching a show that evening before he went to bed back. So he wasn't here just being screamed at about what's going on. He needs to learn from these mistakes. And he did. He made some pretty big mistakes, and I tried to explain to him it's not who he is. It's you made mistakes and you can move forward from it and you can learn from them. So I would like to get this anger management class done as quickly as possible. And does this mean that I won't be seeing my son until August?
well, again, unless you can do it, can we do more? I don't know how long the class is, but it's 4 weeks, 6 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
Do we have something before July 31st? I know that the court's concerned, especially if Dad had print time with Leon this past weekend, there were no issues. But if Ms. Smith believes that this needs to be done, that there's a history of anger management issues with Mr. Cezak, then the court will order that.
I would see why she would say that. I don't blame her.
So in the meantime, what about phone contact?
That's a very
Between,
long time to go without
Leon
seeing
and
my
Dad.
son. He's not going
All
to
right,
be
I
pleased
understand
with
that.
that.
Hold on just a minute. Mr. Cezak, hold on just a minute. Ms. Nemec, any objection to Dad having phone contact with Leon?
I'm going to have to defer to you on that, Hope. What is your feeling on that?
No, I don't think there needs to be a limit on phone contact.
Father to have reasonable phone
Okay,
contact.
well,
Yes.
well, Dad, are you concerned by Mr. Cezak having inappropriate discussions with Leon?
I can
What's that?
see the conversations now that I have the Leon's password. So I feel like I can monitor if the conversation is appropriate for my child.
That's why I gave it to you.
If it's appropriate, then I don't mind the contact, but if it's not appropriate, I will definitely put a restriction on that for sure.
Well, what if Mr. Cezak had texted Leon to say, call me if you want to talk? And Leon initiates the phone call. Any objection to that?
No.
All right, so that's what the court suggests. I'm not putting this in order, Mr. Cieslak, but obviously you can text Leon, just say, hey, buddy, you know, whatever. I'm always going to be here for you. Call me. I missed.
Your Honor, he knows he's
want
going
to see how you're doing.
he's going to be more
let him
upset with
initiate
this
the phone
order than
call.
I am.
Mr. Cieslak, I know you're not giving the court an opportunity to talk. You want to do all the talking, so go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. My son's not going to be pleased with this. He was just here this weekend. He's not going to be pleased with not seeing me for a month. I know that for a fact. Like I do know that it's beneficial for Hope's case for her to say that she is afraid, but she knows that Leon is in no danger here. I know that she knows that. I know that she knows I care about my son as much as she does. And it is, I believe, an attempt from her to hurt mine and Leon's relationship further. He was just here this weekend.
Let's not assume that, Mr. Cieslak. Come on, we're making some progress here. Let's not throw it around. The court's going to order you to take the anger management counseling. The sooner you get started, the sooner we can get a reestablished relationship with Leon. So just focus in on your wellness. If there's been a history of assaultive behavior, anger management, blowing up, take the class. And you provide documentation of that, so hopefully we get things back on track when you appear before the court on July 17th.
I've said insultful things to Hope, but I have not been charged with assault. I don't have a history of it. I haven't been charged with physical abuse against Hope. I haven't been charged. So I mean, okay, I get it. But when we were finally on the same page and I disciplined my son for lying to me about allegations that could put his mother in jail and are dangerous for the adults in his life, and when we are finally on the same page, he's gone. So I get it. I do.
You don't
I
smack
understand.
a child in the face, Mr. Cieslak. That's where we sort of across the line when you smack them in the face, and you acknowledge that. So that'll be the order of the court. Hopefully we'll have the documentation. You completed the class by July 17th. You can still text Leon to say, hey, I'm here if you want to talk. And if he wants to make the call, if he wants to talk to you, he can initiate the phone call.
Your Honor, did you want that incorporated in the recommendation that father have reasonable phone contact, or did you not want that?
We can do that, but again, it's got to be initiated by by Leon. The phone contact be initiated by Leon. The father can text Leon, but make it appropriate. You want to be gentle with Leon, Mr. Cieslak, so he doesn't back away. And then talk with the counselor. Maybe they can offer you suggestions. How do you deal with a difficult 12-year-old? So you can have phone contact with them.
From the back away.
But to have Leon initiate the phone contact, you just text them and just say, hey, I'm available. Call me if you want to talk. I miss you.
Yeah, thank you.
That's the primary question I asked. I asked it about 20 minutes ago. I asked Miss Smith if Leon was there this past weekend, is there still a concern and issue? And she said yes. That there's been
with her, with my son there wasn't.
Warrant a anger management counseling program. Mrs. Pratt is recommending that, and the court's going to adopt that recommendation. The court wants nothing more than to reestablish things between you and Leon. Rest assured, I'm sincere in that.
Well, established it this last weekend. The relationship between Hope and I is what's preventing anything from being established between Leon and I. She's the one that is fearful for Leon, and Leon is not fearful. Leon knows what goes on at my house, and he is effectively running from discipline from both parents with the court's aid at this point. Like it's not even Amber said the safety plan that we put into place. She's like, you are allowed to smack your child in the face, but if you leave a bruise, it is abuse. So do not do that. You should smack him on the butt from now. Is exactly what she told me. And she
already told me that. You already told me at this court order that you're not smacking on the butt. You don't touch them. Neither one of you shall inflict any corporal punishment.
Okay.
So that will conclude this hearing. Everyone can zoom out. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you, Your Honor.